Hey guys, Furum here, and today I'm going to be testing the Icona Vulcano in multiplayer in Asphalt 9. I got this car fairly recently and I have managed to 3-star it, and it is one of the best cars in this multiplayer season, so I figured it would be a good car to make a video about. So my tuning is 8888, upgraded the maximum I can at 3 stars. This brings us to a rank of 3412. All of the races in this video were recorded when I was at 1860 or above rank, so you will see a lot of competitive cars that I'm going to be facing, namely other Iconas, Lykans, as well as SCGs. I believe those are the 3 best cars this multiplayer season. And my 3-star Icona is my personal best. My 3-star SCG is also quite good, however it is slower and the Lykans and Iconas tend to catch up with it, especially since we have all 2-lap races this season. And my 1-star Lykan, while it is faster than my Icona by a good 12 to 13 miles per hour, it has trouble reaching that speed. Its nitro efficiency is not that great, and neither is its acceleration. So I find that while that car can pull out some wins, it is less reliable than the Icona, at least when it's at 1 star and my Icona is at 3. I assume when I star up the Lykan to 2 or 3 stars, it will be better. But since I've reached the high 1800s, the Icona has been my best bet. The car directly ahead of us is a 4-star SCG, which is only slower than us by about 3 miles per hour. And it is a B-class car. The SCG is very overpowered for its class. The car directly behind us is a 4-star Icona, which is faster than us by maybe 1 or 2 miles per hour. The S-Class cars, when you star them up, do not really increase in speed a whole lot, unlike some of the cars in lower classes. So the 4-star Icona was the car that came in directly behind us, and directly behind him was the 4-star SCG. Now for a race against the same 4-star Icona that we beat in the previous race, as well as a 3-star Lykan, which is a very fast car. Even at just 1 star, it goes 255 or so miles per hour when in nitro, which is crazy fast. But as I said, it cannot get up to that speed very quickly, and thus it hardly ever reaches it. And I really think the advantage of having a higher starred S-Class car than just a 1-star one is not necessarily so it can have better speed, because it doesn't really gain more than a few miles per hour at most, but rather so that it can get up to its top speed faster, because the acceleration and nitro efficiency and drifting are the things that improve, I would say, even more than the speed does. Because even if the Lykan speed did not increase at all from 1 star to 5 stars, and only the acceleration, handling, and nitro efficiency increased, it would be still very overpowered. As it stands now, the Lykan is the best non-exclusive car in the entire game. This means you can find it in those weekly events for S-Class, you can find it in the Legends store, whereas any other better cars in the game you cannot. Like, for example, the Fenner Supersport you can only get through multiplayer and clubs, and Trion Nemesis blueprints can only be gotten through its exclusive event. So yeah, the Lykan is going to end up being the best choice for most people. However, the Icona is probably second best, and it can even beat the Lykan on some tracks because it can keep high speed better. Like here, both Iconas beat that Lykan, even though it's 10 to 15 miles per hour faster than us. In this race, we are facing a 4-star SCG, a 3-star Lykan, as well as a 3-star McLaren P1. Now, my P1 is at 2 stars. The next club season, I will be able to 3-star it, and I hope to make another video about it after that. And I just realized we have 2 Scotland races in a row. Not exactly my favorite combination. So after driving the Icona a lot in multiplayer at both 2 and 3 stars now, I do believe it is my favorite car in the game now to drive. And rip that guy, because it is fast. It is my second fastest car next to the Lykan. Its acceleration is quite good, and while it's obviously not to Acura level or anything like that, it can keep up at the beginning of a race and does really not fall behind too far. Its acceleration is also average, I would say. It's not especially great, but it's not horrible either, and its drifting is really good, as is its handling. So it's just an overall really good car to drive. It feels a bit bouncy when you drive it. You may notice that if you have the car as well. And I think that is partially due to its very good handling, because cars like the SCG, which do not have nearly as high of handling stats, feel more stiff. For some reason in this racing session, and these first 3 races were sequential, I met a lot of elite team players. I'm not exactly sure why, as I don't meet them all the time, but I guess they were all just playing about now. but I do enjoy playing against them. So in this race we have a 2-star Lykan, a 4-star SCG, and a 4-star Icona. There are also a couple of Lamborghini Asterions, which are honestly rare to see at higher ratings, but are extremely common down in Platinum League. I have 3-starred mine not too long ago, but I really did not use it much in the season because, well, I had a lot better cars, the SCG, P1 Icona, and Lykan, and it would really be suicide for me to use my Asterion now in this season at such a high rating, so I do plan to make a video about it, but it will be in a later season, and it's a fairly common card to use in seasons, so I really don't think it will be all that difficult. I said in some fairly early Asphalt 9 videos of mine that I really did not like Rome, and while it's still not my favorite track, there are some variants which I really do not care for still. I've gotten a bit more used to it and believe I can get through it better than I used to. And this probably happens with anybody who plays the game a good amount. As you play the same tracks more and more, you start learning when to use nitro, when to drift, when not to drift, you know, stuff like that, and you just get into the groove on the different sorts of tracks. But because the game has only been out for 2.5 months, not everybody has gotten into that. Now, 2.5 months sounds like a long time, but you've got to remember that, for example, pros in Asphalt 8 may have been playing the game for a few years. So if people seem less skilled in Asphalt 9 than in Asphalt 8, you've got to remember they haven't been playing the game for nearly as long, and we have yet to learn the very best ways to get through a lot of the tracks. Interestingly, in this race, a 3-star Asterion came in second, beating both that Lykan and Icona. That's unusual. Now, I think the thing the Asterion has going for it is it has very good acceleration. It is better than the acceleration of the Icona, Lykan, and SCG. Not by a whole lot, but as you can see in this race, he is getting ahead by a good bit at the beginning. Now, the thing is, they do have low speed, so they tend to get past quite quickly, but if they can keep their speed on a track where some other faster cars may not be able to as well, they can still pull out some wins, and I have seen a few videos and screenshots of people doing that in their Asterions, and Dr. Illusion actually made it to Legends League in his 2-star Asterion. Go watch that video, it's quite interesting. He shows the last 2 races before reaching it. This track, City on the Bay, a specific San Francisco variant, is quite special to me for a very specific reason. It was the track that I first tried to figure out how the best possible way was through it very early on in my Asphalt 9 career. This was the track that I battled Lucas on. You guys know him, the Hot Dog one, in our Acuras for a video on the Game Loft channel. And just this morning, as of me recording this, Lucas did a live stream, and we had another battle live in club races this time on this specific track, City by the Bay, 3 laps in our stock Mitsubishi Lancers. It actually ended up being a very close and epic race, and I'm going to be making a video about that, some from my view, maybe some from his view, maybe even some cinematics from after the race. I don't know. It's gonna be cool though. So there, that Lykan ran into me from behind, and I somehow got the knockdown on him. Again, I have no idea how that ended up happening. It seems like the thing that was in Asphalt 8 carries over to Asphalt 9, where if you hit somebody from behind in midair, oftentimes you are the one who explodes. Now here, unfortunately, is where I hit the side an extra time, causing me to fall off onto the longer route, because you cannot flat spin up to that place to the left there, so I'm forced to go around here. It's not like especially longer, it's maybe a couple seconds, however, that is enough for anybody who is less than that amount of time behind me to catch up and pass me, like that Icona did. If this would have been a 1-lap race, I would have beat him, and probably also would have if I had not fallen off there. Multiplayer is a lot different than events, where if you make a mistake, well, too bad. You can't just try the same race over and over again until you get it perfectly. But we did beat a 4-star Lykan, and this next race shows the comeback power of the Icona. We are paired with a 5-star Lykan, a 2-star Lykan, as well as 2 4-starred Iconas, and a 2-starred P1. So this track, Mountain Poles, the specific Himalaya variant, is one of the most wreck and knockdown prone tracks in the first like 20 seconds because of this ramp here that everybody 360s off of, and if anybody even touches you, you tend to explode. And usually, because my luck is horrible, I'm the one who explodes and nobody else does. Actually, that's what happens in the majority of my races. Not exactly sure why. But since disconnecting now pretty much always makes you lose points except possibly the first time each day, I decided decided, well, I'm just going to stay in and see if I can catch up, because there is really no point in leaving early anymore. Because later in the race, if you are still in last place or whatever, well, then you can choose whether you want to leave or not. But it's not like you're going to have a higher chance of losing points if you leave later. At least I don't believe you do anymore. And if you stay in, you at least have a possibility of catching up, especially if you're in a car with high speed like I am. We have already come from 5th into 3rd position, and we have a whole other lap to go. This is one thing I really do like about 2 laps. If you get knocked down, there is more of a chance for you, because before, on a 1-lap race, if you got knocked down, well, unless some other people made mistakes too, you were pretty much going to be toast. However, now, if you have a high-speed car, you have a chance to catch up, as it should be. However, I still do think Gameloft should add something in every season, pretty much, where you can choose whether or not you want to be 1 or 2 laps. People voting, like in Asphalt 8, and that system has worked quite well for a long time. So the 2 cars in front of me right now are that 5-star Lykan, I have no idea how he managed to get that, as well as a 4-star Egoista, I believe. And here he wrecks. I'm not exactly sure on what, possibly that truck, but there has only been 1 or 2 times ever in my Asphalt 9 career where I have wrecked on a bit of traffic. Usually you just get slowed down a lot, and if you're in Nitro, sometimes you don't get slowed down a whole lot at all, but it very, very rarely wrecks you, less than a 1 in like a dozen chance of that. So we have actually caught up very close to this Lykan here. We have a bit of a problem when landing. The barrel roll didn't exactly work properly, but we are quite close to him. However, he is, remember, that 5-star Lykan, so he is quite a bit faster. And unless he makes a mistake around these final turns, we're not going to be able to pull off the win. And he doesn't. It seems like he is quite a good driver, and so we come in 2nd position, but not too far behind him. And keep in mind, we did come back from getting knocked down to being 5 out of 6 at the beginning of this race, and we did beat some faster cars. Another Scotland race, my favorite. So here we have a 2-star Lykan, a 3-star Icona, and a 4-star Icona. And here at the beginning we see how the Lykan really does have a slower acceleration than the Icona. So I believe this specific variant of Scotland was one that just earlier today I had a very interesting stunt with my SCG on. Not exactly sure what happened there, but I got slowed down a lot, and it was not especially great. Anyway, that SCG stunt will probably be in my future 3-star SCG video. I did make my epic comeback video with that car. Go check that out if you haven't seen it yet, but I do hope to make a fuller test with it. I may also send it to one of the funny montage people to put in a video to do something with, so if you see an SCG stunt in there with my name on it, you know where it's from. I drift a little long here so I can get shockwave. Somehow he rams into me from behind, and I don't know if it's because of his bad internet connection or what, because he was blinking and had that symbol. Anyway, he got knocked down, hitting me from behind when he was going faster. Again, I'm not exactly sure why. That kind of stuff usually backfires on me. I'm usually the guy who gets knocked down in a case like that. But this time, and a few times throughout this video, it's actually been working in my favor, which is very unusual for me. So an uneventful 2nd lap passes, and we come in 1st position. I wish they would make the goal completed thing a bit smaller, so we beat that 2-star hypersport, but he did beat those other 2 Iconas. Now for our final race in the video, in which we are facing 2 2-star Lykans. So I guess now it's time for me to give my general review about this car. It is definitely one of the best and most useful S-Class cars you can get. You can obtain it through career. Now, you will need to start up by getting blueprints for it in the S-Class cups and stuff that come every week. But it's very fast, even at 1 star, and once you start up, it can really become a beast in multiplayer in pretty much any season that you play it in. And once you get used to driving it, it becomes really fun. It is a very easy car to drive, unlike, for example, the Lykan, which relies a lot more on keeping momentum, a lot better than you would have to in this car. I did, however, record quite a few races in my 1-star Lykan, and I am going to make a video about it probably sometime next week. And for the people that have been asking, yes, I still do play Asphalt 8, and I still plan to make at least 1 Asphalt 8 video a week. The one for this week was the update video about it, because there's a new update that adds like 3 cars. But next week, I do plan to make an Asphalt 8 multiplayer video, possibly with the lost bike, the Aprilia, which was delayed for I don't even know how many updates, probably like 4 at this point. And probably in that video also I'll show my ultimate AI race for that bike as well, because it was extremely close, one of the closest AI wins I've ever had. So we have achieved the victory in this race ahead of those 2 Lycans. So thank you all so much for watching. Please like the video if you've enjoyed it, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt 8 and Asphalt 9 content. And I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!